is the difference between the tribal people and the pilot? Only one thing. The tribal people doesn't know how to operate the mechanisms. The pilot knows how to operate it. Just like that, most of us, we do not know how to operate the system. The system given to us by God is an unknown thing. Somebody is using it as a bullock cart, somebody is using it as a tractor, somebody is using it as an aircraft. The system given to us, see the same system, tribal people are used as a bullock cart, an educated man is used as a tractor, pilot has used it as an aircraft. What is the difference between these three people? Nothing. The system is same, but the man is knowledge. Just like that. The system is given to us by God. Most of us, 90% of us use this system only as a bullock cart. Taking birth, eating, drinking, reproducing, dying, over. Nothing much is achieved in our life. Few Benzes, few bungalows. If you weigh your life, it's few Benz, few bungalow, little bit of moving here and there, over. Nothing much. Few children. Nothing much is a life. A normal course of life. Taking birth, reproducing and dying. Nothing much is achieved. Nothing new has happened. Nothing great has happened to the consciousness, to the being. Nothing worth mentioning has happened. Somebody came and asked me, Swami, why in the cemeteries, in all the graveyard, it is called born and died. Born, such as the date, died, such as the date. Why? Nothing worth mentioning happens in between. That is only two worth mentioning things in most of our life. That is the reason. Born and died, except birth and death, nothing worth mentioning happens in our system. So most of us use the system as a bullock cart. We just use it in a minimum level, dull, dead, dragging. Most of our life, if it is tuned, it can be tuned only dull, dead, dragging. This is the first level, first layer of life. The second layer of people who has entered into the zone of art, who have become artists, who have become painters, dancers, musicians, who entered into the next dimension of their life, not for money's sake. If you dance just for your being's beauty, if you sing just out of your bliss, if you paint just out of your joy, you became a painter, or a dancer, or a musician. The next dimension of your life, when you explore, you use your system as a tractor. A man with a simple head can never become Tagore. If you want to become a Tagore, you need to have your next dimension. Persons like Tagore, Van Gogh, all these great scientists are the next layer. They can be called as something more than scientists because they explore the next dimension. That is the reason the Nobel is given for giving them. Gitanjali, the monumental works are the great dancers. When they create the masterpieces of dance or the art or the poetry, they explore the next dimension of their being. They explore, they see the next dimension of their being. So these are the people who became tractors, who see the next level of their life, fulfillment. That is the reason the great poets, even if they die in poverty, even if they die with no property and in poverty, they have a very deep, satisfied death, that they have lived their life ultimately, that they have lived their life with a fulfillment. They may live in a very poor way. They may not have wealth, they may not have the outer wealth, but they live in a rich way. Wealth is different, richness is different. They may not have the comforts, but they live in a very rich way, like a kings. And if you read the Bharati's life, Bharati is a great poet from Tamil Nadu. If you read his life, he is lived in a very poor way. But if you see the way in which he lived, simply a royal, he lived more like a king than like a beggar. You can see all the poets, great poets, they will not live a wealthy way, in a so-called wealth, the outer comforts, but their life is really rich, because they have seen the next dimension of their being. They know the ecstasy of the human being, of the human possibilities. Whatever way you can express your being, the possibilities of human being, the next dimensions of possibilities, they are touched. The third layer, only a Buddha, Krishna, Rama, these are the great enlightened masters who have used their system as an aircraft. These are the few people who have used their system as an aircraft. Majority, 90% of us use as a bullock cart. 8 or 9% who are artists, are the great dancers, great poets, they use as a tractor. Only a handful of people. See, if you want to know the human history of the humanity, you don't have to read the millions of people who have taken birth and died. All their history is not necessary. Just read 10% history. The Buddha, Krishna, this 10% life history is more than enough to know the whole history of humanity. These are the people who are the milestones on the human history. These are the people who have created turning points in the human history. Just like that, if you know the few man's history, you can know the whole history of the humanity. These few enlightened persons are the persons who have used their system as an aircraft. Not even, there is no need even to have 2 fingers, 2 hands. 1 hand is enough to count this type of people. Very handful of people. Buddha, Krishna. These are the very few who had a great impact on the humanity, who has used their system as an aircraft, who are real pilots, are the pioneers of the human evolution, of the human growth. If you see the difference between the villager, the tribal man, and the pilot, nothing much. Only one thing, the villagers don't know how to operate the mechanism. The tribal people, they know how to operate the system. That's all. Nothing. The tribal people, they don't know the mechanism. The pilot, he knows the mechanism. Nothing else is the difference. Only a very small difference. It is not that something needs to be added. No. Only one difference. They don't know, he knows. That's all. Just like that, if you know how to use your system or mechanisms in your body, in your mind, in your being, you can become a pilot. You can use this system for the optimum result. You can use this system for the maximum result. You can convert this system into an aircraft. The mechanisms which exist in your system is what is called chakras. There are 7 chakras in our being. The energy centers. These energy centers are the real mechanisms in our system. If you know how to open them, how to activate them, how to remove blockages from them, how to energize them, you can simply transform your system into aircraft. As as long as you do not know anything about that system, you will be just pulling your being. If you just know how to open, how to energize, how to activate the system, you will be using the same system, same mechanism as an aircraft. So now we will be entering into each and every system, each and every mechanism of your being, and we will explore how to operate, how to open it, how to work on the chakra, on the energy center. Let me show you how the chakras are situated. The small diagram, very small, I think all of you will be able to see how the chakras are situated. If you have this book, you can just open the page 20. The lowest is called Muladhara, the root chakra. You don't have to remember the names. You see, there is no need to remember the names of all these things. Just I am giving an introduction. Then afterwards you will be entering into the deeper layers. You don't have to bother, I have to remember all these names or what. There is no need to bother. You can just see and have an idea, that's enough. First center is called Muladhara. From below entering, the root of the spinal cord. Just at the root of the spinal cord, Muladhara. The next is Swadhisthana. Above the Muladhara, below the navel. On the navel, Manipurara. And in between the chest, Anahata. Then on the throat, Vishuddhi. And between the eyebrows, Anya. Top of the crown, top of the head, it is called Sahasrara. This much is enough. If you know that, if you have a basic idea, few energy centers which exist in our being. Now, we are going to work on each and every energy center, each and every chakra is connected to some emotion of our being. You can see throughout the world, in all the languages, the love and the heart, these two words are used as synonyms. Am I right? The love and the heart, these two words are used as synonyms. Any language, it is not that all the languages are happened or created in one time or one place. All the languages are created in a different space, in a different time. But around the world, almost all the languages have got the same expression. The love and the heart is used as a synonyms. Why? Something more than a verbal connection exists between these two. Some experiential connection is existing. If you really observe, then you can understand. If you meet a friend after 10 years, your childhood friend, and after 20 years, with whom you have a lot of very loving and sweet memories, suddenly something will be flowing from here. You can observe. Have you observed any of you? Suddenly something cool, very nice thing will be happening here in the soul, and it will flow. If you meet a person whom you love after 10 or 20 years, after a long gap, something will happen here. That is the reason, because this is an experience for everybody. That is the reason in all the languages, not only the Indian languages, or Western languages, even in the tribal languages, I have seen at least more than 100 languages I verified. In all the 100 languages, love and the heart is synonymous, because it is something to do with deeper emotion. So the love is the emotion which is related to another chakra, the heart center. Just like that, each and every emotion is related to each and every chakra. If you receive any shocking news or the news which you can't bear, immediately the first effect will be on your stomach. You will have a stomach upset. The stomach will be upset. Either you will have diarrhea or loose motion. Have you observed anybody who had experience? You can always see it's an experiential thing. The first blow will be for Manipura chakra. The worry and depression is very closely related to Manipura. And again you can see in all the language there is an expression. If you receive some news which you can't tolerate, you say, I can't digest it. I can't stomach it. I can't digest it is the expression in all the language. Again, because the worry and depression is very closely related to Manipura chakra. Like this, each and every emotion, the sex is related to Muladhara chakra. The chakra which is in the near the end of the spinal cord, the root of the spinal cord. Each and every emotion is very closely related to one chakras. If this emotion is handled properly in our life, each and every emotion is an energy given to you by God. It's like a money. If you don't know how to handle the money, you will become bankrupt. Just like that, if you don't know how to handle the emotions, you become energetic. See, if somebody works for you, his work is worth $1,000, you pay him only $1,000. If possible, 900, never 1,100. That's what is a regular way of life. We give him $1,000, not more than that. But if he does a mistake which is worthy of $1,000, how much of anger we pay him? At least $5,000 worth of anger we paid on him. Anger is an emotion. It is valuable thing. If you can pay the anger just like the money, exactly how much is necessary, that much if you pay, you will never go erratic. That is the reason after shouting, we are so tired, we just fall in the sofa and ask coffee. Because it's not a very big work. Just shouting is not a big work. But you feel so much you are drained. Why? Because emotion is energy. All the emotions are energies which is in your center, in your beings. When you use the money in a very loosey way or in a luxurious way or an unnecessary way, when the luxury is something necessary for a life, nothing wrong. But when you spend unnecessarily, lavishly, you become bankrupt. Just like that, when you spend the emotions, when you lose the energies lavishly, you become energy corrupt. Each and every emotion is connected to some chakra. If you know how to handle them, how to use them properly, how to balance them clearly, your chakras, your energy centers open. If you don't know how to balance them, if you don't know how to use them, if you misbehave with the energies, see, having or showing too much of anger is a misbehavior with anger. Anger is like Lakshmi in you. If you misbehave with the money, you are misbehaving with Lakshmi. Just like that, if you misbehave with anger, you are misbehaving with your energies. Will you throw a dollar note in the dustbin? Will you throw a $100 note in the dustbin? We always think, oh, it is disrespect to Lakshmi. Just like that, if you throw your emotions unnecessarily, it's a disrespect to your energy. Just like God has given you money, He has given you emotions, energies to run your system, to run your life. When you disrespect, when you throw them out unnecessarily, you show a disrespect on the emotions, on the energies. If you know how to balance, how to run them, if you have an understanding, the chakras open. If you misunderstand or if you misbehave the energies and the emotions, the chakra closes. For a little more understanding, it can be told in the other way. if you know how to give your love, the anahata opens. If you continuously ask for love from others, anahata closes. This is the master key for anahata chakra. Now first you will enter into the heart center. It's a master key for anahata chakra. If you know how to give the love, the center opens. If you ask for love, it closes. It's the first master key. One more way you can understand. If the chakra opens, you will give the love. If you give the love, it opens. If you give the love, it opens. If it opens, you give more love. More opening, more love. More love, more and more opening, and more love. It's like a this side circle. Now it is this side circle. More you ask, more it is closed, more it is closed, more and more you ask. The ball is rolling in the down way, this way. It is getting more and more black and more asking. Now we are going to stop the ball by the meditation and start rolling this way. Then more opening. Once the chakra starts opening, the more love overflows. When the more love overflows, the chakra opens little more. When the little more is opening happens, the more love overflows. The ball rolls this way. The chakra rolls this way. The whole program is just to stop the ball rolling this way and start the ball this way. We are going to work on each and every chakra to open the chakra, to see the emotions are balanced, to see the energies are centered. First, in each and every session, we'll have a small discussion on the chakra, then your meditation on the chakra. The meditations are taken from many religions. I wanted to present, or I wanted to prove all the religions are centered on the same thing, the one ideology, how to make you more joyful and more blissful. First, how to make you more joyful. It means how to make you more happy in the life with the outer persons, and then how to make you more blissful. How to make you more blissful without the outer world. First, be joyful with the outer world, then be blissful without the outer world. So this is the step, this is the reason why the meditation or the religions are born on this world. This is the center core of all the religions of all the world. That is the reason I have taken meditation techniques from Sri Vaishnavism, the religion preached by the great Vaishnavic masters. Each and every session we will have a discussion and then meditation. This way we will have 7 sessions on the 7 different chakras. Finally, tomorrow evening we will be having the energy darshan, which is the peak or pinnacle of this camp. Later on we will be explaining what is energy darshan. Now let us enter into the Anahata chakra, the heart center. First question I receive is, people ask me,